And hello to you. Welcome in. We're looking around the Confederation. John Blankenship, Jason Boshears here on a Thursday evening. Jason, how are you, my friend?
Oh, man, I am doing fantastic. I've had a great day today. It has been a busy, busy day.
I know the same thing. We've all been, I guess fall time seems to be everything ramps up. We've all got stuff going on, whether it's, you're just like me, you're involved in every kind of history organization that exists. And I think I live more in the past than I probably live in the present. That's all right, though. That's a good thing, though.
Yeah, I can live like that. I have no problem with that at all. And throw that on top of the fact that, we moved into this house in 1994. Been here 31 years, had aluminum siding on it when we moved in.
Mm-hmm.
But it's done got so weathered and aged that we can't clean it anymore.
Yep.
And we had to replace it. And guess what they started doing on Monday? Replacing the aluminum siding with vinyl.
So you're not restoring the original siding. Is the original siding still there underneath?
Yes. The original siding, I'm just going to call it clapboard or what it would have been, because the house was built in 1904.
Mm-hmm.
So that original is there. So, they got a barrier. Then they had the aluminum on top of that.
Yeah.
The aluminum's off and the vinyl's going on. So,
that's exciting.
Yeah, it is exciting, but it's a lot of chaos going on right now.
Yeah, I'm sure it's not cheap. Nothing right now in the building industry is cheap.
No, nothing is cheap. And then we've got that going on. And then, just had a great day today. Spent the day in Lebanon with past Tennessee Division adjutants Martin Frost and Tom Wood, getting some things solidified and, working on some things. So it's been a good day. A good day.
And Jason, you mentioned Lebanon. There's something I want to go ahead and mention, because we've talked on Tennessee Tuesday, but we should mention this here because there's been a lot of talk on social media about DeWitt Smith Job and his burial site in Rutherford County. I do want to put this out to our membership. Again, we're going to go over this disclaimer here in just a moment. That the views are our own tonight. And Jason, I'm going to have you pull that up and read that in just a moment. But that site is having a development being built on it. The old cabin has been demolished, but there has been an effort to save some of those original logs. We know that's underway. And another gentleman is working right now with some direct descendants of Job and his family to preserve that cemetery. And the gentleman that's in his 90s now, that's a descendant, and his son, they have been involved in it before. And years back, I believe the oldest gentleman, who's in his 90s, helped set the original Job marker back in 1968 or 69.
69, yeah.
So they have interest in it. So I'd like to kind of put it out there to our membership, especially Tennessee Division, to please let this stuff play its course. Let these guys work on it. Let the descendants be involved in their family cemetery. That we don't need to step in right now. It's under control. It's being worked on. County commissioners are aware. Several folks in the state are aware of it, and they're working with the developer. So just putting that out there. If you're interested in that, you can reach out to me. I've got more information. But right now, we just ask you to not mess around on that property as it's worked on to be preserving that cemetery and his final resting place. So lots of folks working behind the scenes to make sure we save that. What do we exist for as Sons of Confederate Veterans is to honor our Confederate ancestors. And we've got a couple of members there working hard outside of the SCV right now to make sure that happens with family. So just keep that in mind. If you're going up to Rutherford County, we probably don't need you on that site right now.
And that's very true. Things are being done. Things are being worked on. But let's do the disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed on this broadcast are not those of the SCV, its General Executive Council, or any division, brigades, camps, or any other subsidiaries. The views and opinions expressed on this broadcast are just the views and opinions of the person that is stating them.
So you just put that all back on me, right?
No, and that's the truth.
No. I'm just messing with. I'm messing with you, Jason.
Yes, because
you're right. It has to be, because we're not representing our organization on this program or these programs. We're representing our viewpoints individually. So that's important for our viewership to know that SCV National Tennessee Division may not agree with everything we say. We hope we do good justice and we represent us well, but we're not doing that officially. And we've got several people watching with us this evening, Jason. I see some folks saying hello from around the Confederation, Missouri, also, and of course, Tennessee, California checking in, just a few of those that are watching here with us tonight. So we hope you'll stay with us. Hopefully for about an hour, we'll be here this evening, and we're going to take a look around the Confederation of different events and activities that our camps have been involved in, and also our different divisions. There's several events coming up, and we're going to kind of jump into those. And then a little bit later on this evening, before we wrap up, we're going to do something a little special. We're going to talk briefly about a couple of our ancestors. You'll see behind me here, if I point in the right direction right there, there's a few ancestors of mine that were connected to the Confederacy, and I'll mention some of those and why honoring our ancestors is so important to me, some of the things they went through. And Jason, I know you've got those same stories as well. So we'll talk about that a little later on this evening. But again, thanks to all those that are checking in with us.
Yes. Thank you all for coming on. Yes. And I know that we have, hey, we just had our Army of Tennessee Commander Carl Jones arrive. Fabersham, y'all.
There he is.
Car. And no, this is not Tennessee Tuesday on a Thursday night. This is Look Around Confederation. We got asked, Harrison Moose, as so many people know, asked him, hey, can y'all guys fill in? Because, they got something to do. I think he's got a camp meeting. He's got to attend some other things he needs to do. And so anybody who pops on, don't think this is Tennessee Tuesday on a Thursday night. No,
we haven't moved anything around. Again, I need to thank you, by the way, for filling in on Tuesday and taking the show by yourself, and Moose being there to help you out. I had a political forum here in my hometown that we had a big crowd, 175 people in attendance. It's for a mayor and alderman race. Big time in our city. We're going to have a new mayor. The current mayor is not seeking re-election after 3 terms. So a lot happening politically in our community. And I ask a request of you tonight. If you're a praying individual, pray for this community, because it's very important that we honor our history. And we're not going to get too political tonight, Jason, but we know there's individuals that would like to erase some history, and we want to make sure the right people are put into the office that will preserve history.
And this is my view and my opinion. Okay. Yes, there are people that would love for everything the Southland represents, because it not just represents just 1860 through 1865. The Southland was so important in the creation of this nation. And because it was, there's some people who are upset with the very foundation this nation was built on.
That's correct.
And so anybody who wishes to continue that on, just the basics of what this nation was founded on, there are people that don't like you simply because that, and you have a different opinion. And we know that what has happened with some people, that if you have a difference of opinion, how people react. And the best thing that we can do for right now is what John Blankenship here has said, and then this is in my opinion as well, take it before the Lord. Because absolutely. He says 300, and I'm told that it says, I haven't counted, it says in the Bible 365 times that it says, do not be afraid. So don't be afraid. So maybe I take from that maybe God doesn't like cowards. He wants you to be able to stand up and be able to do the right thing. Do not be afraid. Yes. And he also tells you to turn it over and hand it to him. So, you do the right thing. You say your prayers, you ask for your guidance. If you make a sin, you ask for forgiveness, but then you do what needs to be done. And there are people that don't like you simply because of who you are. And that's just plain, and that's my opinion on that. So, yes.
And Jason, as we're coming up on next Tuesday, which is going to be the birthday of now the late Charlie Kirk, the 14th, of course, that's being a day of remembrance, a day of honor for Charlie Kirk. And we're not getting really into his platform, but his life being taken for what he stood up for is something kind of, we're in the same situation, maybe not as a large scale, but as you said, there are folks that want us gone. They don't want this stuff talked about. So,
Yes.
of course, we're going to remember him, and I'm sure each of you have been a follower of that situation. And I know that's coming up on Tuesday. So, folks in the media, like that, I work still in media. That's a big deal right now.
Yeah, and it is. But you still have to do what you still have to do. I took an oath. Yeah. When I joined the Sons of Confederate Veterans, I took an oath.
Yeah.
And you stick to your oaths, and it's just that simple.
Absolutely.
And,
well, Jason, let's jump into some events tonight. I know folks have sent in some things to us from around the Confederation. We've got a multitude, or a plethora, as a good friend of mine says, of events tonight we want to talk about. So let's kind of jump into some of those. We'll take a little break too, a little bit, and we'll kind of split this up this evening. But this one is coming up. Missouri and the SCV there and the Military Order of Stars and Bars having their annual reunion. That's coming up a few months from now. That'll be in March, but go ahead and make plans for that in Carthage, Missouri. Surrender is not an option. Don't you like that? It's not an option.
Yes.
And you can kind of see there the graphic briefly of some of the things that'll be going on. It'll be a good time there at their annual reunion. And looks like registration is still not available yet, but that'll be coming soon. And I'm sure you can follow the SCV and the MLOS&B in Missouri and get that information. So that's coming up. And there's some hotels. That's not too far up the road from me, Jason. So I may have to try to make it up that way.
Oh, yeah. And I'm actually glad that you brought that up, because we have a gentleman here that is within the chat that is a Missouri fellow right there, Mr. Wes Franklin. And Wes, if you have any news on this, feel free to put it in the chat, and we'll pop it up here for everybody to see.
Yeah,
but it's
absolutely.
good to see Wes Franklin there, because we actually have him in the news as well.
Yeah, so if he's got details where that registration, well, I'm sure it's on their website. If it is, where we can go and find that, we'll make sure we share that this evening. So we'll talk a little bit more about them. They're coming up with some photographs here in a little bit. But our next one is Army of Trans-Mississippi Field Day on the battlefield. Jason, you've been to this site. I haven't been. This is coming up in Saturday in April the 18th of 2026. Talk a little bit about this site in Mansfield, Louisiana.
I tell you, that was Richard Taylor and the whole Red River campaign. When you're there at this Mansfield Battlefield Park, and I'm going to encourage everybody to go, because it is a state park. It is not a federal park. It is a state park. And it is on Saturday, April the 18th. When you go there, and this program that they're going to have like the speakers and music and all that. You're on the battlefield. Yeah. You're on the battlefield. You go and, because they walked me through the battlefield and they said, okay, so-and-so fell over here and this line was formed over here. And you're right there on the battlefield. And, you have Mansfield, just very good. And I would recommend anybody, if you can't go on this date, just still go to the Mansfield Battlefield Park. They do have a good museum. The artillery piece with the limber box that you see there, they do have a very good museum inside there. It's not a great big museum, but it is a very good museum that talks about the battle. So that is a very good thing to go to.
It's coming up Saturday, April the 18th. Let's jump into an event we talked about a couple of weeks ago now, Jason, with Jordy Barnett at the Bradford Rose Camp in Morristown, Tennessee. They've got this event coming up. Footpaths of History Cemetery Walk will be at the old Bethesda Presbyterian Church and Cemetery. That's coming up. That's not this weekend. That's next weekend. Yes. October the 18th. That'll be starting at 7 until 9:30. They'll have tours for $5 each there to see the historic cemetery. And also you'll get to go inside, I believe, the church as well, and get to see it as they're raising funds for the preservation of the cemetery and the site there of this historic church. And we learned a lot about that from Jordy that I didn't realize, Jason, that it had not been used really since war era. It has really remained unused as a church, but it survived. And it's important, the awareness they're bringing to this and to raise funds to preserve this historic site. So that's not too far from Morristown, and that's Bethesda Presbyterian Church, and that's coming up October the 18th. So you can reach out to the Bradford Rose Camp on social media, and they've got that there with all the details that you need to know.
And you can also go back on Facebook and YouTube and watch the video that we had Jordy on talking about that. If you want to know more, you can go there because he had quite a bit to say about it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Jordy and them are doing some great things. And he sent me a text just a little while ago that I haven't been able to get the pictures for us tonight, but they're continuing their work on the Longstreet Museum, replacing some of the original wood clapboard siding and restoring that building. They've been working on that for a while. A lot of work being done there. The new monument that they've raised funds for over the past 4 to 5 years is in the process of going up, and he's ready to come back on. I know Tennessee Tuesday with us already, Jason. He's got some things he's working on and some ideas. So Jordy's got a fire about him, and he's excited and working hard for the SCB, as well as all those folks at the Bradford Rose Camp there in Morristown do. So we're excited to the work they're doing, and I encourage you, if you're up that way in East Tennessee, they're in the corner, go ahead and make your way up there and support that good event they've got going on. This is another one, and we're not going in any certain order tonight. We're just going as they're loaded in here. Moose put some of these up for us, and then we've added a few others that have come in. This one is to honor Champ Ferguson. This is going to be in Monterey. This will be a 204th birthday celebration. That's coming up in November, so you've got plenty of time to make plans to be at that. That's November the 29th, and I believe that's a Saturday. Let me just make sure. That's Saturday, November the 29th. There at the cemetery starting at 10 o'clock that morning. And again, that's on social media. If you just pretty much search Champ Ferguson, you'll find that poster with all the details about the location of the cemetery. And many of you have probably heard his story, and there's several that speak on it, of course. So that's going to be a good event coming up in November.
Yes, and I'll go ahead and throw this in there. The next day, November 30th, Franklin Death March. They'll be stepping off. That Sunday. Be stepping off at 2 o'clock on the actual day of the battle.
Yeah, that hasn't always got to happen usually every time. So that's going to really be neat.
Yes.
1864, Jason. I had ancestors there. There's folks from West Tennessee there. General Strahl, who was buried at Dyersburg just up the road from me, and we've got a camp in this area named after General Strahl. And he was there, laid out on the porch, finally brought back to West Tennessee to be buried. So important time our ancestors was involved in there in Franklin.
Yes, it was. And while you're there, you can go and you visit Champ and be there for that. And the next day come to Franklin, participate in the Death March. And Absolutely. You don't, yes, we will be in period clothes. We will have infantry, and we will be carrying flags, but there's also a civilian phase in that as well. And civilian period, and then there's also just regular civilian. So if you want to come on along and enjoy.
Yeah, definitely.
We're starting at Winstead Hill, 2 o'clock.
Yeah. What's the distance on that to the Carter House, Jason? How is it, 1.5?
No, it's a little over 2.5 miles all the way.
2.5 miles.
Yes, 2.5 miles, nearly 3. So close, they just give it to 3.
Well, there you go. So you can pick up from the very beginning along the way, meet down at the Carter House out front, and be there as well and come participate in that good event coming up. I know James Turner sent out some stuff on it. He's working on that, and others there in Franklin. Well, here's a photograph. Something. Can I call you Colonel now, Jason?
If you so desire, yes. That is the two gentlemen you see there. The gentleman that is on the far left, that is Mr. Eric Privati. He is a membership chair. He is also a Tennessee colonel, and he put me in to be a Tennessee colonel. There's a hoodoo you have to go through. Somebody that's another colonel has to recommend you. The reason why Adam Southern, who's our executive director, is standing behind him is Adam is a Tennessee colonel as well. Eric put me in for it, and you have to go to your representative and you have to submit, and there's some whole paperwork you have to go through, and then it goes to the governor's office and the governor signs it. So I am now a Tennessee colonel. Yes.
So Colonel T-Rex we've got with us tonight.
Yes. I'm a Tennessee colonel. I'm a Kentucky colonel. And thanks to Mr. Lloyd Mock, I am an Arkansas traveler.
Look at that.
Yes, sir.
Little applause to Jason this evening.
I do my little T-Rex applause.
The little hands.
Yeah, the little T-Rex applause.
Well, this next photograph, we don't have much details about this, Jason, but I wanted to, since it's been sent in to Moose, I wanted to go ahead and share this one tonight here. It looks like we've got some folks that have become new members
Yes, sir. And it is the Major Thomas R. Livingston Camp
Okay.
2327 out of Carthage, Missouri. And they swore in 4 new members at their October meeting. From left to right is compatriot Jason, and I hope I'm pronouncing the last name correctly, Pogue, Poage, Jason Pogue, Ben Probert, Daniel Wright, and Matt Tosh. So congratulations to the Major Thomas R. Livingston Camp, 2327 out of Carthage, Missouri.
Yeah.
Signing in, swearing in 4 new members in 1 month. Way to go, gentlemen.
Yeah, good job. All right. Let's move on here, Jason. We've got a reenactment coming up. The battle at Dead Horse Trestle, Morgan on the Run. This is going to be in Ridgetop. Is this an annual event, Jason? I've never been to it. Are you familiar
no,
with
sir. I'm not aware of this becoming an annual event. Been in Ridgetop and all of that quite a bit, but I don't know that I've seen this. I don't know. No, sir. From my understanding, it's not.
Okay. So it's coming up the end of October, the 24th, 25th, and 26th there at the Ridgetop Station Park. And you can kind of see some of the details. I know it's kind of small for you, but it's a reenactment. So you know what entails in a reenactment, but all the times are available. And again, if you're more interested in that, leave something in the chat. We can make sure you get more details about that as well. And I'm sure they need participants. I see there's an entry fee for reenactors, so I'm sure they're looking for folks to help them out. My eyesight's not good enough, Jason, to give that number at the bottom. I know that's 615-310, and I think that's 2323.
And that is correct. And that is the event coordinator, and reenactors can call Chris Layton at 615-445-5252.
All right. So good event coming up there.
Yes, sir.
Let's see. Next, we talk, a little more about this one. You found this one and got the details, I believe, of some of the names. We know a couple of those guys, but you got some more names, I believe, where they're at.
Yes. And again, and I want to thank the Major Thomas R. Livingston Camp 2327 for not only doing things, but send it in. There's so many camps that do things out there, and we never get the information from them. Some of these gentlemen, you just saw them in a couple of pictures ago, but from left to right they are, as they're set up at a booth at Jasper Days on the 27th. They manned the booth. They made $175 in merchandise sales. They had a lot of good positive interactions, and they picked up a prospective member. And, the people say, well, why set up if you're not going to get a lot of members out of it? Well, sometimes just making people aware of you. Because there's so many people that have never heard of the Sons of Confederate Veterans. And, when you set up an event, people get to see you, people get to know you. That's the main thing. If you'll pop that up, I'll tell the people
you want to go through the names?
Who in the picture. From the left is Mr. Wes Franklin. He was the gentleman that was telling hi to everybody just a little bit ago. Travis Archie, Ben Probert, that's the gentleman that was seated. That was one of the gentlemen that was sworn in as a new member. Randy Barnett. Now, Randy Barnett is out of a different camp. He's out of the Private Riley Crawford Camp, 2348 out of Baxter Springs, Kansas. So that's Kansas and Missouri working together.
Yeah, that's great.
Then we have Paul Ayers, Keegan Franklin, Reese Barnett, and Lonnie Culp. Thank y'all, gentlemen, for setting up and doing this and just getting the word out.
Absolutely. Appreciate it's important. I've always said we set up at our county fair here in Gibson County in Tennessee, and whether I gain a member or not, I want to be there. If they let me have the battle flag up, Jason, I'm gonna keep it there. So Elliot Jackson gave us a little more detail about Morgan on the Rim. It's an annual event and about in its 5th year.
All righty. Thank you for telling us that, Elliot. I did not know. Yes.
Let's see. Derek's commented as well, when you go to Franklin on the 30th, visit General Claiborne where he fell. It's just yards away. That's correct. It's not far from the Carter House at all. Been there several times.
Yes, sir. It was behind the old Pizza Hut.
Mm-hmm.
Now the Pizza Hut's no longer there.
There's a whole bunch of properties that have been brought down. There was another property just brought down recently too, I know.
Yes, they have done a very good job on preserving the Franklin battlefield. And they have set the artillery pieces up the way they originally were. So if you go down the avenue and you go headed to the Carter House, you will see what your ancestors walked into.
Yeah.
because they were pointed straight at that road and they were giving them grief. So,
Absolutely.
yes.
Well, here's from Pulaski, the General John C. Brown Camp 112. There's some of their guys there at a recent event.
Yes, sir. They were set up at the Campbellsville Festival in Campbellsville, Tennessee. That's just right up the road from Pulaski, and that's the John C. Brown Camp. And they have flat out started growing and doing some things, and I'm proud of these guys. Very good.
Been to that.
I'll be seeing them on Saturday morning.
Awesome.
I'll be visiting with them on Saturday morning.
Doing a good job there. And of course, Campbellsville's got a connection to me. I've got some ancestors. I've got a third and fourth great grandfather buried there.
Wow. Okay.
Small world. Small world.
Yes, it is.
Let's see next here. This one, I know you're going to know more about this one than I do. I've been to one of these before and of course, been to the Sam Davis home several times over the years. And the ghost tour is coming up this weekend and next weekend. So if you want to see the Sam Davis home kind of in a different quote unquote light, this is a really neat thing.
Oh, yes, it is. This coming weekend, Friday night, Saturday night, next weekend, the 17th and 18th, Friday night, Saturday night. The ghost the tours will start at 6 p.m. It's starting to get dark at that time. The house is set up. It is not set up in mourning, but because it will be set up in mourning during the month of November when Sam was captured, tried, and executed. But during this time, it's not. It's, but you can come in. You can kind of see that there'll be a hayride coming through the field. You'll be able to go inside the house. You'll see how it is set up for a Victorian funeral and just the regular mourning customs, So that's a little different than what you would see during Sam's time when the house is set up and it's a house in mourning. But I'll be out there. I will be on the 10th and 11th. I'll probably be out in the hay field. I might be even driving a wagon for all we know.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Come on. It depends on how many people show up and how bad they need a tractor driver.
I've never seen a T-Rex drive a tractor.
It is something that definitely will make the news.
That's worth the admission cost in itself.
Yes. It's amazing to see. The legs can reach, but the arms quite caked.
You thought you were going to get out of that tonight, didn't you?
I expected. Yeah.
So this is Jim Davis Camp 1425. They've got a new member that they have welcomed in, Jacob Inman. And I'm just curious. I'm going to have to reach out to him. I'm looking forward to getting to meet him if I'm related to him. Those Inmans I mentioned to you that are buried in Campbellsville, we may be connected. We may be cousins there somewhere along the way. So welcome to Jacob, a new member there at the Jim Davis Camp.
Yes.
And here, if you want to see a little closer image of them there. Appreciate all the work bringing in new members.
Yeah, I'm so proud of that camp, the Jim Davis camp. Way to go, guys.
Absolutely. Of course, John R. Massey camp there in Fayetteville. They were in Flintville. They're at the Bear Wallow Marketplace, set up with the booth. See some of the members there working hard. They do a great job there. And let's get a little closer view of their booth they've got set up. I see some of the reunion photographs that they carry around. And there's, of course, John R. Massey, who was killed.
Yes.
See him on the banner there. So good job to them, continuing to do good work. And in Fayetteville, they've got some things they're working on right now, defending our heritage in Fayetteville. So we appreciate James Patterson and all the folks there in that camp.
Yes, that is a hard-working camp. It's a good camp.
Absolutely. So next, I'm going to give you the little description here, and then we'll show the photograph. Gainsborough Invincible, 1685 there. And, of course, the OCR chapter have worked together, and they're all over the place in Gainsborough Fall Festival. Tom Wood and Nancy came up and others. And there you can see a photograph of them there at the festival, set up with their booth. Rich is the king of recruitment, of course, in the Tennessee division, and he is all over recruiting. He even goes out of state if needed to recruit. So I see Tom's joining us this evening. Appreciate Tom and all his artwork. I'm going to pick on Tom since I know he's watching. I love Tom's shorts. He can pull those off, Jason.
Oh, he can.
Let me rephrase that.
Well, yes,
don't pull them off, Tom. Keep them on. But he can master that there. Well, so they do a good job.
They do a very good job. Yes.
As you can tell, we're being a little light tonight. We're not being so serious.
Yes. And yeah. And this is a camp that we were talking about that's done so much. And Jordy Barnett, who was on there.
Yeah.
I'll let you speak about this, Commander Blankenship.
Yeah, they've got the Granger County Fall Festival they've worked on there and been at. Of course, a very nice booth. You can see a large booth, 2 tents set up.
Yes.
Always do a good job. Looks like some items they may have had to pass out and give away, maybe some things for sale. I see they've got some flags there too. They're really working hard, of course, really work well with the Longstreet Museum and the many different projects they've got going up there, getting ready to host the Tennessee Division reunion in April of 2026. And we'll talk about that more. And if you're interested in coming to Tennessee and being with us, but a good job they do there.
Yes. Yes. And I saw in the distance, I saw a skid steer, and I'm thinking, man, don't tell me the camp has a skid steer.
Hey, that's nice. I like it. I have one there. I could use that around here.
Boy, I think anybody can use one of them.
Mm-hmm.
I could anyway.
Again, we thank all the folks for watching with us tonight. We've had several comments. Tom's new title there, a Master of Shorts.
The Master of Shorts, yes.
But Tom, remember, please keep them on. That totally didn't come out the way I meant that to come out.
Well, he was referring to you can pull the look off.
Yeah,
you can leave the britches on. Yeah, you can leave the britches on, but you can pull the look off. Yeah, see, I can't do that. My legs look awful. I look like I swapped legs with the Kill D and got cheated. So absolutely. I can't pull off a pair of shorts like that.
Let's see here. The Robert J. Tipton camp there in Elizabethton is doing a great job there, and they've been involved in many different events and activities. And here's one of the events they were recently involved in there, and their picnic, their great fellowship they had there, and got a couple of photographs. I think you mentioned this on Tennessee Tuesday.
Yes, I did.
As well.
Yes, and I think those. I think the Tipton camp for that, and I think the Hayes camp 320 and Military Order Stars and Bars working together to get this done and to mark these. I mean, there's the stone for Samuel Tipton, you know, and that's just awesome that they do that. Yes.
And of course, they worked a few years ago on Landon Carter Haynes, who had been unmarked when he was moved from Memphis to Jackson, got him a marker there. And so a great job they've done. Jason Baker, Rick Harding, and others.
Yes.
Brigade Commander Ed Hill there, and Captain of the Tennessee Mechanized Cavalry there in that picture, and many others too.
Yes. And I think this is great because not only you see them back there with Lieutenant Robert J. Tipton, but look at this stone for Samuel Tipton. Oh, yeah, I mean, very nice. He's a founder of Elizabethton. He was American Revolutionary War. He was a Rev War. Mm-hmm. You know, this is a huge history that is right here in Elizabethton. And I want to thank these the SCV camp and the Military Order Stars and Bars chapter working together to keep this marked. That's a very good thing. Thank you.
Absolutely. Well, let's talk a little bit about, as we start to kind of wrap up this evening, on events and activities across the Confederation that have been sent in to us. Jason, give me that email address that Moose wants you to send those to.
scyouthoutreach@gmail.com. Do you want to put that up, or you want me to put it up?
Well, if you've got your hands on it, you can pull it up there right there.
Yes. And this is anytime that you're doing something, it's scyouthoutreach@gmail.com. And you're doing something, send this in. You know, send it in. scyouthoutreach@gmail.com. Anytime that you're doing an event. You saw how we were able to read the names off earlier?
Yeah.
Because somebody sent us a picture, and they sent us a picture, and then they said who the people in the picture were. Mm-hmm. Because sometimes you get these, and I've seen them, and they don't tell us anything. You know, so, and it's not that we don't care or we don't want to announce it.
We just need to know who they are, so we know what we're talking about.
Who's the picture? Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have within our organization. If you were at the National Reunion, you found out that we're just under 25,000 members. Well, that's 25,000 people, and I'm sorry, I just don't remember everybody's name, or do I know everybody? So, so when you do something, send some pictures in and tell them about it.
Absolutely.
And once you get that email saved, all you got to do is start typing it in. It pops up, throw a few pictures in there, type in who they were, and off you go.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mention that each Thursday. Well,
Yeah.
let's see, Jason. We got one more event, then we're going to take a break, and we're going to come back and talk a little bit of history and a couple of our Confederate ancestors, and maybe do a little show and tell, and we'll kind of see where the show goes there as we continue along on a Thursday evening on SCV Chat and Around the Confederation and the Tennessee Division reunion. Getting excited about this for Tennessee folks. And if you're outside of Tennessee, we'd love to have you come and join us and be a part of that. It's going to be a good event in Morristown. Of course, that will be April the 17th and the 18th. And of course, we'll be visiting the Longstreet Museum. There's going to be a tour going on, and you can see some of the things there that's coming up. Again, you can go to our website, TennesseeSCV.org, and you can find that registration and all the details there coming up. So if you're interested in being at the Tennessee Division reunion, if you're a Tennessee SCV member, please make plans to be with us. If you've never been to a reunion of the division level, you should do that. You'll enjoy it. They're a lot of fun. You get to meet and greet with folks sometimes you've never met, make some new friends, and then it is truly a reunion of old friends.
Yes. And I know Carl Jones has a mind like a steel trap, so he remembers everybody and everything. And while you were talking about that, I wanted to talk about two other things. The next weekend is the Arkansas Division reunion.
Okay.
And you can go to ardivisionscv.org and you can look up and would be the next weekend, Friday, April 24th and Saturday, April 25th. And it is being hosted by the James M. Keller Camp 648. So if you're interested in going to these division reunions, and I feel very fortunate as LT and Commander-in-Chief that an Army Councilman and Commander that I attended a lot of division reunions, and you learn so much about what the other organizations are doing and, how active they are. And what I want to say is if one of these reunions that is just right across the state line from you, reach out to them and see about attending and actually coming to it. That would be very, very good. And then when we come back, first thing we'll do when we come back, we want to go to commercial. I want to talk about one more thing that the Hatton Camp is doing coming up at the end of the month. So if you want to go ahead and go to commercial, we can.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll come back and do that.
Again, we thank our Patreon sponsors, those that have all signed on with SCV Chat. Also, Dr. Chris Cummings. We talk about him regular. I got to know Dr. Cummings a few years ago when he was in Jackson for a while. I got to have lunch with him a few times. A great SCV member, a great doctor. And Moose tells me he's an expert on knee pain. And I wish he was a little back closer in Jackson right now because I'm having all kinds of knee issues. I may need to travel down to Mississippi to see him and see if he can get some of these joint and knee issues that I have going on. But Dr. Chris Cummings, one of our sponsors here at SCV Chat and Look Around the Confederation. So we'll be right back after this, and we'll be talking more here on SCV Chat.
There is a place nestled in the rolling farmland of southern Middle Tennessee. A home constructed in 1837, nearly lost to the ravages of war. Saved by a servant and a Confederate general. A place where families loved and lost. If walls could talk, what stories could be told? If a place, a home, can feel love, loss, pain, surely this is one of those places. Nearby is a more recent structure, and inside are the stories of heroes and heroines, stories of battles won and lost, stories of sacrifices made by the people of its native soil. A place that will tell the true and complete story of the Southland and the war fought for its freedom. From the causes that led to the conflict to the modern-day struggles to protect Southern history. Historic Elm Springs and the Confederate Museum at Elm Springs are the general headquarters for the Sons of Confederate Veterans. A place where the story of the Southland and its historic struggle is preserved and told. Come and discover your history.
You don't hear me, do you? How about now?
All right. Now I can hear you.
That's what happens when I mute my board and not look back at it to clear the throat.
Okay.
So
I
if
thought
you wonder
something
what I
was
was saying, Jason is such a nice guy and how much we love him and all he does. Yeah, that's what we were saying. But
That was what you were saying. Yeah, I believe you.
but yeah, I know you do. But again, welcome back in to Look Around the Confederation as we talk about different events happening in the SCV and lots of good things happening in our organization. And we're excited to do just our little part and be a part of those and promote what our organization does. Again, Jason, you've got a couple of other events that you wanted to mention that you said, of course, up in Lebanon that you knew about.
Oh, yes, sir. And I realized that I made a little mistake earlier when I was talking about the Arkansas Division reunion. I told you about the Keller camp.
Yeah.
Now that is actually located in Hot Springs. They were the ones that hosted the national reunion in 2023. So, that's a great camp. And if you get a chance, go visit them. And that's going to be up in Hot Springs. But what I was going to talk about very briefly was the Hatton Camp, which is the General Robert H. Hatton Camp, Lebanon, Tennessee. On Thursday, October 30th, they're going to be hosting past Commander-in-Chief Larry McClooney.
Oh, wow. Okay.
He's going to be the guest speaker, and he's going to be doing the first-person persona of General Pierre Gustave Toutant Beauregard. So, and you have to say it like that,
I'm not going to try it. You got it down. I'm not going to try it.
Yes, but he's going to, and he does a very good first person Beauregard. Very good. And, but Tom Wood has asked everybody that if you're interested in coming, I'm going to run this ticker along the bottom and you will see that past Commander-in-Chief Larry McClooney, he'll be the speaker, but you'll see Tom's email address here on the end, woodth24@gmail.com. But if you'll just RSVP, say you're coming, that way, they can plan on having everything they need for everybody.
Absolutely.
And, yes.
And that date again, Jason, when that's coming at when again?
That's Thursday, October 30th.
Thursday, October 30th, right before Halloween.
Yes, sir. The day before Halloween. Yes.
So you'll get to see Brother Larry there. He'll be dressed up in costume.
Yes.
Can we call it costume since it's close to Halloween?
Yes. And you'll see on November 30th, they're going to have the 199th birthday anniversary of General Hatton. And, that's who their camp's named after.
Yep.
So they have two big events coming up, October 30th and November 1st. So
it's going to be good. They do a great job.
Yeah.
Tom does a fantastic job there in Lebanon. We appreciate all the work the Hatton Camp does and continues to do.
Yes. And you can see there a third one, November the 11th, and they're going to have the Lebanon Veterans Day Parade. There's also going to be we've been invited, the Sons of Confederate Veterans have been invited to the Nashville Veterans Day Parade. So we'll be getting some information out about that. Yes.
And I think Tom corrected that email address you gave there, Jason.
WoodTH25.
You said 24, so he's corrected you there.
Oh, I said 24.
Yeah.
Okay. My bad. Sorry
there
about
it
that.
Is.
We
Good
all make mistakes.
Hey, we do. It's all right. We make mistakes. None of us are perfect.
Well, yes.
Well, Jason, it's been a beautiful day in West Tennessee. I don't know about where you're at across the Confederation this evening. A beautiful weather. Fall is here, enjoying this time. And something I'm looking forward to do coming up this Saturday, Jason, is going to be going out in the country outside of Humboldt to find an old abandoned cemetery that the gentleman that's property it's owned. Originally, the church was located there, but they moved in the 1850s. He said he saw 3 tombstones back about 65 years ago. He's in his mid 80s now, and he wants to go see if we can locate those again. So we're going to go out Saturday afternoon with the probe and some other tools and see if we can locate those graves.
Oh,
So
that's
fun stuff. That's right up my alley. I look forward to doing this. I've heard stories that it may exist, and now this gentleman says he does. He remembers them. So we're going to hopefully we can put our hands on those stones. And again, you're talking 65 years of leaves and other debris. So hopefully they're still upright and we can find those.
Man, that is what you call buried treasure.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, to be able to go get those and resurrect them, to bring them up, get them out there.
And the thing is, we don't know who these individuals are.
No, it doesn't matter.
We just know there's graves. We don't know. They've never been recorded. So this is a new find here in southern Gibson County. And wish us luck that we find those. I've got some ancestors that were buried in that vicinity, and I don't know where they are. And I'm hoping, well, maybe that's where they are.
Yes, and and it doesn't matter who they are. Preservation, historic preservation is historic preservation. There's no strings attached.
Mm-hmm.
There is no however, comma, but. There is none of that. It is historic preservation is historic preservation.
You're right.
And I want to mention this about Carl Jones, the Army of Tennessee workshop at the Southern Cultural Center in Wetumpka, Alabama on May the 6th. And they're going to have great speakers focused on growth and retention. This will be a mini reunion.
That'd be good.
We've hosted a couple of AOT workshops.
Yeah.
And these are really good opportunities for you to learn. Go ahead, John. I know you have some things you'd like to say.
Well, I guess the question is to Carl, does he have capabilities of streaming some of these or recording these to make those available even for purchase after, like you would register to come for folks that may not be able to come in person? Is there capabilities? And that's a question for Carl, since he's obviously putting that on. Is that a possibility, or is there any way I can assist him on that and making those available to the membership, even if it's for a small purchase price there to go towards it?
Yeah, and that's a great question. The short answer is yes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's left up to whoever's putting the workshop on. Yep. If Carl says they can do it, and the place where they're hosting it says, yeah, y'all can record this, then it can be recorded, and it might be something they ask us to do. It might be something that they ask Stars and Bar Enterprises to do, which is Connor and Harrison. Hey, they have the recording equipment. Come to the AOT workshop. They hosted them before, and they've filmed them before. So that might be something that they get them to do, Stars and Bars Enterprises.
And that's something Connor and, of course, Moose can do. And that's something that you can reach out to them as well. If you're putting on these type events, or maybe you have content you want to make available online, they can help guide you through that process and how to make that happen. Let's see. Carl tells us here he is, we can pop that one up there, Jason, if you want to. He's not sure yet, but he'll be more than willing to do so. If we can make it happen, let's do it. Growth the SCV is the mission. That's it. If we can get it out to our members and make it available, I think that's good stuff. Appreciate all Carl's work. Is AOT Commander.
Yes, and the way, and let's just say that they can't attend, we can find somebody that can be there with recording equipment. I've got it. You have it. Others of us do, and we could just set up. If they can't make it, we ought to be able to have several people in this organization who can attend to do that.
Yeah. Well, here's the question this evening. Now, again, I'm going to say I'm being a little not so serious here, but kind of at the same time. Now, if Carl would want to bring me down for the weekend and put me in a nice hotel, pay me to do all that, I'd be happy to do that for Carl. Mm-hmm. And take me out to dinner, maybe Friday night or something like that, if Carl's up to that. Medium well, Carl. That's how I like it cooked. That's how I like my steak. Medium well. I'm being silly this evening. I'm not being serious. Kind of.
I have to scroll that across there.
Those are there's the disclaimer.
Yes.
No, we're picking it, Carl. I appreciate all he does.
Oh, yes.
A good guy does a lot for the organization. He'll feed me spam, biscuits, and gravy.
Well, now,
I like all those, but maybe not all combined together. I don't know about spam and gravy together. Ooh.
Well, What's the old saying? Humphrey Bogart said it in a movie that he'd rather have a hot dog at the ballpark than a steak at the Ritz. And,
Yep.
So this is, hey, you come to a Carl Jones event, it's spam all the way.
Again, I appreciate all Carl does. Again,
Yeah.
a good evening so far. We thank you for listening. We're coming up on our hour mark. And Jason, we're going to kind of wrap up here at 8:00 tonight. Again, we thank you so much for watching this evening and being with us as we fill in with the broadcast extraordinaires and taking their place this evening. We appreciate them letting us step behind the mic and the camera to do this evening and fill in to keep the show going. But something, Jason, I want to talk a little bit about is our ancestors. And if any of our folks want to comment in the chat, some of theirs. We won't go into a lot of detail about where all they served and all that, but behind me you can see, and I'm going to grab a couple of these if that's all right with you, Jason.
Oh, yes. Talk about them.
These here, and again, these are just some I have framed. This is an ancestor of mine, Joseph Rembert Blankenship, who is a Confederate veteran of mine. He's my third great-grandfather. And there's a photograph of him. He lived in Gibson County, Tennessee, in the latter part of his life. Started out near Ripley in Lauderdale County, Tennessee, near the Mississippi River. He originally joined in a company out of Arkansas, but was captured at Vicksburg. He did make his way back out there on the parole and came back to Brownsville, Tennessee, and reenlisted a few months later. Served in the 7th Tennessee Cavalry there under Colonel Duckworth. And of course, he made his home, and I directly descend from him. Just got to put him a marker up. He died in June of 1910, and he finally has his first tombstone. So him and his wife now have one, and we're going to do a dedication. We thought we was going to do it this fall, but it may be the spring. But this next one, and we're all familiar with Confederate veteran magazines. This is an original copy from October of 1910. I know his obituary appeared in the magazine. I've seen the digital versions and seen it out there, but I said I'd always like to get my hands on an original copy of it to have to keep, and recently found one of those on eBay. eBay always has good stuff that shows up, and found an original that his obituary was in. Of course, there's not a photograph of him in there, but it tells where he served. So nice to have an original copy. And it's what neat is where this one come from. It's stamped on it. There's 2 or 3 that came in the set I bought. And they actually came out of Brownsville. So there's a very good chance the person that was subscribed to the Confederate Veteran magazine in 1910 probably knew J.R. Blankenship. So that even makes it a little more personal. And most likely, probably, I haven't done the research, probably served with him as well. So they're very neat things that have. And I know you got one of your ancestors, Jason. Were you able to pull that picture up? And
No, sir. I haven't been able to pull it up yet.
But tell me about a couple of folks. You're named after one of your Confederate ancestors.
The one that I'm immediately named after, Jason Boshears. His name was Jason Wilkes Boshears. He's 48 Tennessee Infantry Company B. And he's buried here just 3 miles from my house.
Yeah.
In Arlington Cemetery. And he was the first of the Boshears line. His father was Jason Wilson Boshears, who came into Middle Tennessee and into this area in 1806. So they've been here since then. And his boy was born in 1830, and he lived until 1923. So he lived to be 93 years old. And like I said, he served there. Cemetery, he was the first one buried in that cemetery. His son is buried there. His son is buried there, which would be my grandfather. My dad's buried there. I'm going to be buried there.
Oh, wow.
And then we already have I have some nephews that are going to be buried there. So you're looking at 6, 7 generations. Yes.
Now, did you know when you, before you joined the SCV, obviously, is that who you joined under?
Yes, I'm joined under him. Yes.
So when did you find out you were named for him, or are you directly named for him?
I'm directly named from him. My dad told me my full name is Robert Samuel Jason Boshears. Okay. Robert Valentine Cagle. That's the only ancestor that I have a picture of.
Okay.
And I'll try to get that downloaded and on here before we do it. And I show you a picture of him. He looks nothing like me. This is a very tall, slender man. He was in White's battery out of Alabama.
Okay.
His name is Robert Valentine Cagle. And then Samuel Hendricks. He was in the 24th Georgia Cavalry. And then Jason Boshears, 48 Tennessee Infantry Company B. Now, my dad said, yes, we purposely named you after them.
For him. Mm-hmm.
Yes, I was purposely named after them. But Jason is a long family name. Currently here in Mount Pleasant alone, there's 3 Jason Boshears.
Oh, gosh.
Yes. And so it's...
Do y'all all go by Jason?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
That's confusing.
Yes, confusing as a lost Easter egg from last year.
One of them has short arms and looks like a T-Rex, but...
Yes, and the other ones don't, so, but I was named directly after him. So, and I was told that, and my dad told me.
That's nice.
And I knew that from a younger age because when I graduated high school in 1982, I remember coming home when they were teaching us history in school. And of course, they were telling us the war was fought about slavery. And I remember my parents teaching me something exactly the opposite of that. So I told my folks, my mama was very much, and she still is, very much into history. In fact, it is her 5th great-grandfather that I'm going into the Sons of the American Revolution.
Awesome. Mm-hmm.
Yes. So it is, so she was very much into the history of it. And when that come up and we had gone to the cemeteries, we were a family. My mother was from a family that went to cemeteries and visited. Mm-hmm. You would go there and you would visit kinfolk.
That's the same way. That's how I've got interested in it from my grandmother that took me to all these grave sites all over West Tennessee and Middle Tennessee.
And that's something that we did. A lot of times on Sunday, that's what you did after church. You would go and you might go eat. Sometimes you didn't. You went over to your grandmother's house and had supper or dinner. And then you would go to the cemetery and the family would load up in the cars and go to the cemetery.
And it's sad now, Jason, you go to cemeteries and there's not anybody there. You don't see the traffic like you used to, even in my lifetime. And I mean, you're a little older than me, but you'd go on a Sunday afternoon and there'd be cars packed, people everywhere.
Oh, yes.
Now nobody goes. That's something we've got to get back to. And, there's talk about this newer generation is starting to find interest in this. And I hope that's something we can work towards to teach the younger generations and revive that. The importance of honoring your ancestors and know where you came from.
Yes. And, I can remember you were mentioning that. I can remember going to Arlington Cemetery, and there's a McLean Cemetery. I got family in all around Middle Murray County. And was visiting, and we were there. And I remember I couldn't have been any more than 8 or 10 years old. Mm-hmm. And people coming up to people, other families coming up.
Oh, yeah.
And they knew each other, and they would, well, how's this? How's that? Everybody went and everybody visited. And it wasn't nothing for us to have 3 carloads of people, going into a cemetery on a Sunday to, visit the dead. And that's when I first started finding out about it because I saw my name on a tombstone.
Oh, mm-hmm.
I've learned to read, and I saw my name on a tombstone. And, it's okay. And just like my brother, Josh, he's a member of the SCV. He's named after a Confederate veteran. Mm-hmm. And Edward is named after another Confederate veteran. So, that was something that my family is always very proud of. And they were always proud to carry down the names from one generation to another. And that's something else that you don't see now is you don't see somebody carrying a name for the next generation, a child being born and carrying, let's say, a family name of yours is, let's say, John. Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. All of a sudden there's no John.
It's anymore. People stop doing that. Mm-hmm.
Yes. And that's something that would, like here, 3 Jason Boshears. So that name is carried from him. Now, he was very unusual in the fact that he was married twice. Mm-hmm. He had 12 kids by the first wife, 13 kids by the second wife. He had 25 total kids. And he had his last child when he was 80 years old. He fathered his last child.
Wow.
So,
he had descent from the first wife or the second?
Sir?
Do you descend from the first or the second?
First. Then there's some of them do descend from the second, but I descended from the first. And Carl is very much about that. Yes. That it was, there's people just don't do that like that anymore. But that's when I first become accustomed to it. So I knew that I was named after a Confederate veteran for a long time. So
something, Jason, you mentioned talking about these cemeteries and traditions, something working in a library and just doing history and genealogy and meeting so many people. It's always exciting to take someone, especially to our local cemetery, which is just 3 or 4 blocks from where I work and live, that somebody come in just this week to the library. I said, well, hey, I'm fixing to take lunch and they're wanting to know where this person is. I said, I know who that person is in the cemetery and I'll take you up there and show you where they are.
Yeah.
And to take someone that's in their later 70s to see I think it's their second great grandfather. It's a grave that they've never been to. They're not from Tennessee, and to go there and how much that means. Just as much as they've enjoyed it, I've enjoyed it to be able to connect them with their family members. So it's just something about that to see where your ancestors lived and to be able to connect with them.
Oh, it is. And to help people do the same. I'm on Find a Grave, and I've gone and photographed, people put requests for those, and I've gone and I've photographed many of them. And it's just nice to do. Yeah. And, some people you will send a very nice thank you. Because they wanted, 5 people in the family, picture of their tombstones. And it's just something that's very good to do. Yes. Yeah. I agree.
Well, I'm going to show you a couple of other things and then we'll
I'm going to see if I can get this downloaded.
Yeah. If you can find that photograph, it'd be neat to see. So this next one I'm going to show you, and some of our DEC members in Tennessee have seen this daguerreotype. And of course I've got it all digitized, but I wanted to pull the original out tonight. And we're going to put it a little closer to the screen. I think you can see him there. This is Henry Hutton Jewell is his name. He was from Hickman County, Tennessee. He joined in the 9th Cavalry there. And you can see an image of him. This was taken right before the war. He's not in a uniform. There's a lock of hair that's in there with kind of a reddish tint to it. He was pretty tall. He was almost 6 foot tall. I'm 6 foot. So maybe some of that height came from that way. But there's his original daguerreotype that was made sometime right before the war, and he survived the war, eventually made his way to Perry County, Tennessee, and finally to Obion County, where he's buried. But he didn't have a tombstone until it's probably about 30 years ago. My great uncle, grandmother's brother, he was an SCV member for several years and lived south of me here in Henderson. He got him a tombstone, got him a military marker, and also got his wife's name put on there as well.
Wow.
So I remember going up there right after it was installed with my grandmother. I was in high school. And of course, she didn't know him. He died in 1899. She was born in 1929. But to watch her and my great uncle, how they cried at his grave, the stories that they had heard about him. And we've got 2 or 3 images of him, but grandmother never got to see this daguerreotype that I have. It came from another cousin, came out of her parents' house, but she never remembered seeing it. But to be able to have what I believe is a lock of his hair. Now, your mind kind of goes wild with these things, Jason. You think, well, why is that lock of hair in there? What I want to believe is his mother, when he went off to war, that she got a lock of his hair and put it in that image, thinking he would never come home. And it survived still today. It's kind of got a reddish tone to it. So I'm sure that was taken probably right before the war. It's of the right era by when he was born in 1840. So it's right before he enlisted, and how neat it is to have an image from them of that time.
Oh, and see, that's awesome. And of course, we'll never know for sure.
Yeah.
But this could be one of those where he went off, like you said, she clipped the hair. And can you imagine how she felt when he had a picture made of himself?
Yeah.
And then sent her a picture. Can you imagine her joy? And
most likely where this image was made, there's a couple of other images in the collection. We don't know who they are. I've got an idea who I think they are. But one of them has Columbia, Tennessee in it. So it was most likely made in Columbia.
Wow.
So pretty neat connection. So my connection is to Murray County as well. I've got some other connections. I'm going to show you one more image. Did you find your image, Jason?
Yes, I did. Now, of my Confederate ancestors, this is the only one that I have a picture of. And that is Robert Valentine Cagle. This was taken after the war. And his wife was Mary Ann. They called her Polly. And she was Polly Nix. So she was Polly Nix Cable, Cagle, excuse me. But you can see him, very tall, slender man. This was well after the war. You're looking, he's just buried down the road from me in Lawrence County, but he lived till he was nearly 90. He did not pass away until 1928. So you're looking, this is after the turn of the century. And, she's smoking a pipe. And the story that I got was every morning when they woke up, he would go and he would light the wood stove in the winter. And of course, back then you cook with the wood stove too.
Yeah.
So he'd go and he'd get the wood stove going, and he would fix her pipe and light it and bring it to her while she stayed in bed. So she she smoked a pipe. First thing she had every morning was she smoked a pipe in bed.
She's a tough lady, I bet.
Oh yes. Yeah, I say she's tougher than an old pine knot, So, but it doesn't look anything like me. But that is the Cagle side of the family. That is the only picture that I have of any of my known Confederates.
It is nice because many don't have it. I'm thankful that I've got photographs, and there's a lot of other ones I have. I know at least 40 veterans I'm descended from closely.
Yes.
But I only have 2 or 3 images, and I'll show you one more here, Jason. This one kind of has a connection to Murray County, a little town called Bigbyville. You're probably familiar with.
Oh, yes.
His father was Thomas Jones. The house that they built in 1810 is a little brick house. It's still standing. It's been restored and added on to probably about 20 years ago. But this is his son, Reverend John Washington Jones. He didn't serve in the Confederate Army, but his son did. But he has a connection here to Gibson County. He's a Methodist preacher, preached all around this area, and probably started in 1830 in that little Methodist church it's in Bigbyville. I haven't been able to find a complete list of their ministers, but he made his way to Gibson County in the late 1820s to we think he was still there in 1830 in Murray County, then came probably right after that, probably 1831 or 32. Father was here a little earlier, but his story is very unique. He was a big farmer, owned a lot of land. And, of course, Yankees had made their way in 1862 to Gibson County. Of course, we were taken pretty early, of course, in the war. And they started to pilfer and go further out from the city. Again, Humboldt had 2 railroads that had just crossed and finished in 1860. So it's a very important hub. This is just a few of the stories. And his son wrote in a little small diary telling of his father and about him. And he tells about that he remained, he calls him a unionist, but we kind of know, you find out by the end really where he stood. He wanted to stay out of it, tried to stay neutral. And then finally, they come to his house late in the night. They'd hid some of they were fairly wealthy too. So it hid some of the jewelry that they had and some of the silverware and things like that the Yankees wouldn't steal. Well, they came in the house, he comes out, and they take Reverend Jack Jones, as he was known by, and they hang him up from a tree by his thumbs in the front yard, begging for him to pretty much have him beg for his life. They didn't kill him, but he was forever injured from that, and his hands were just ravaged and torn up. Within a few days, his son enlists in the Confederate Army. And he would ask, and he tells in this diary, and some people ask him years later, why did he do it? Because they hung Daddy by his thumbs. It just shows what those Yankees did when they came to the South, and just for the common man that was living in the country doing his own business. And that's just one example of 3 or 4 stories we have here in Gibson County, Jason, that happened. So we know what the Yankee soldiers were, and I don't have the company ones that were here at the time that did it, but I do know. So they did that to several individuals.
Oh, yes.
So that was common hanging. Can you imagine being hung up by and he was a big man. He was like 6'2", 275 pounds. He was a big man. And to be hung by your thumbs from a tree for several hours changes your viewpoint pretty fast. You get involved in the war pretty quickly.
Yes, that's a lot of that Jack Henson stuff right there.
And these are stories well documented, and people say, are they larger than life? Yeah, there's probably some romance added to some of it, but I mean, there's still, in my lifetime, people that talked about this. There was a man who's deceased now. When I first met him, was in his 90s, 20 years ago, from Florida, but he's descended from this gentleman, and his grandfather had told him that story. Yeah. So he was a grandson of this man. So he's a second great grandson. So those are direct stories told of what they did. And that's just a few examples of kind of what happened. I mean, people say, why do you care about this? Why does it matter to you? Man, when I think they hung Uncle Jack, who's actually a cousin to me, when they hung him by his thumbs, well, that's why I honor them.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's just one example, what they fought for and fought for their families, and tough times that I mean, every generation's had their tough times. I think my grandparents went through depression and learned a lot about that. But then they heard these stories like these of what they went through in the time of the war and after the war, when every area was different, but West Tennessee was left in a really, really bad place.
Yes.
People really suffered.
Yes, and you're right. These stories were passed from generation to generation because people would sit around on the front porch after supper.
Yeah.
They would sit around on Sunday after church between the two, Sunday morning and Sunday evening. They would sit and they would visit. And these stories were told. And then it seemed like once TV come along and people would sit in front of the TV and they stopped going out on the porches and talking.
Stop talking.
Yes. And then you had the invention of cell phones, and everybody sticks their nose in a phone. And I'm as guilty of it as anybody. So I can't sit here and throw, let's see, remind me to tell y'all the story that Kenny Price from Hell told us about. Okay, great. Yes.
Yeah, definitely want to hear that sometime. Yeah, definitely.
Yes, love to hear that.
And these stories are just, I mean, they're all over the South. People say, did that really happen? Well, man, when you've got hundreds and hundreds of these stories, and just in Gibson County alone, there's one in Trenton. I mean, again, I could talk all night about this. I tell my wife these stories over and over, and she's like, how do you know this stuff? Listening, talking to people, listening to stories. Well, where did they hear it? Well, hey, I've got this letter. There's a gentleman who was in Trenton. His brother was killed at Shiloh, but he was unable to go in. He had a withered hand. Family lore tales is why he didn't enlist. But they were another wealthy family, and they're connected to this Jones family as well. He was taken outside of the town, chased by Yankee soldiers for his horse, and they stripped him of his clothes, shot and killed him. And it tells me a connection to the slaves, to these families, Jason, because the slaves went to get him, to bring him back to their home in Trenton. And the little letter, and this letter is from the late 1860s, and the slaves cried.
Yeah. Yes.
I don't have much comment to say from that, but I think the letter says it all.
I don't know that there's anything that can be added.
I
think that's enough.
Yeah. So that's why we do what we do.
Yes.
That's why, and I'll show you one last photograph, and we'll leave here a postcard image of our Confederate monument in Humboldt when it was erected in 1914, one of the original postcards they put together. That's why we defend our ancestors. That's why we defend their monuments and memorials. That's why they're there. This says, in memory of the Southern heroes of Gibson County. They are heroes to that generation, and as far as I'm concerned, they're still a hero to my generation.
Absolutely. Whether they know it or not, they're still heroes.
Absolutely.
Whether you recognize them or not, they're still heroes.
You're right. Well, Jason, we've said a lot tonight. We've been all around the Confederation with news and activities that our camps and the Sons of Confederate Veterans are doing. We've talked a little history show, a picture show tonight. We've talked about Tom Wood's shorts. We've talked about Jason riding in the back of a wagon with short arms. We've talked about Carl giving me a Spam sandwich. We've covered it all tonight.
I thought I would pop that up there.
Yep.
Everything you said, and I like that that's flying the Christian cross.
Absolutely.
Very good one to go by. Yes.
Absolutely. Again, you see the email address. If you have an event, activity that your camp is doing, you'd like to be featured on the show, scyouthoutreach@gmail.com is the address. For SCV chat, you can send those in. Again, Jason, let's promo the shows. I know there's a banner here that we've got, I believe, that's coming up for other things, and you know them probably just as good as I do, what we've got coming up.
Okay, well, let's see. Let's just start where we are now. Thursday night, Look Around the Confederation. Now, on the first Thursday night, you have Commander's Comments, and that's with Chief of Heritage Operations, which is Paul Graham, and sometimes you'll have Ron Kennedy on there, past Chief of Heritage Operations, along with Commander-in-Chief Walter D. Donnie Kennedy. Then on Friday nights, you have Friends of Douglas Southall Freeman with our good friend David Pope. He is going to be talking about Kings Mountain tomorrow night. So if you have an ancestor or relative that was at Kings Mountain, the one that I mentioned earlier, that my mama, fifth great grandfather, well, he was the one that was wounded at Kings Mountain. So that's very particular to me. Then we don't have anything on Saturday, so enjoy that with your family. On Sunday, gather around the campfire at 7:30 Central Time, because we have Michael C. Hardy with Hardy on History. Now that's 7:30 Central Time, 8:30 Eastern Time. So make sure you join in for that. Then on Monday night, we have SCV Chat, 7 p.m. Confederate Standard Time or Central Time. Tuesday, we have Tennessee Tuesdays.
Yeah, we'll be back with you. Absolutely.
Yes, we will. And we'll be back then. And Wednesday night, you have Sean McFall, Florida Man, with Look Around Florida. And then gather around here next Thursday, and you will hear, I don't know if Connor will be back or if we'll have Harrison, but you'll have, make sure you send your stuff to SCV Youth Outreach. Your camp does something, send it. Your brigade, your division, they got something planned, they've done something, take some pictures and send it in.
Absolutely.
And, yes, because I'll have pictures to send in after Sunday, because we're doing our camp, my camp, the Camp 29. Well, we're having a Southern Cross of Honor service.
Okay.
So Captain John N. Maroney, Meroney, and he's John Maroney Sr. So we're having a Southern Cross of Honor service for him. I'll get pictures made of that and send it to scvyouthoutreach@gmail.com.
Absolutely. Lots of stuff going on. Lots of things you can watch here on SCV Chat. Again, the website is scvchat.com. You can go learn how to be a Patreon member there and help support the work that's done here on SCV Chat. There's ways for you to donate and help the cause, past episodes, all the about information and news and updates is scvchat.com. Again, Jason, it's been a great evening. Look forward to being back with you again on Tuesday night for Tennessee Tuesday. Any final words you want to leave with us before we wrap up?
I just want to go back to what David Pope said, because I did not mention the start time. Thank you, David, for correcting me on that. 8 p.m. in the Friends group, Friends of Douglas Southall Freeman. And then the Carl Jones himself, Captain Spam, the Spaminator. He will be on Monday night, but he'll be on SCV Chat on Monday night. So make sure you stay for that. Other than that, it was an honor to fill in for Connor and for Harrison. And it's always a pleasure to work with you, Commander Blankenship.
Yes, sir.
Great honor to work with you. Thank you.
Well, Jason, thank you so much. We thank you for watching this evening. Hope you'll be back with us again with me and Jason on Tennessee Tuesday on this coming Tuesday night. We've got a great program lined up. As of right now, Mr. James Patterson is going to be with us. Now, James has some family issues going on with his mother, who is not in too good health. So we do want a member of the Patterson family in our prayers. And hopefully James will get to be with us. If not, we'll get James on in a future episode. We do remind you once again, everything we said tonight, Jason, is our own view and not of any of the SCV organization or all its subsidiaries and all those that are involved. Again, we thank you for watching. Have yourself a great evening, and we'll talk to you soon. God bless you.
God bless you. Y'all have a good one.